So while I'm quite quick to point out the similarities of the discourses of different religions and philosophies and teachers, they all have their distinct flavour. And Tibetan Buddhism has an emphasis on compassion and loving kindness, or karuna and metta, if you use the Pali word, and insight meditation or mindfulness, or Theravadan Buddhism, or whatever label there is. But that branch of Buddhism focuses on Upekkha, equanimity, the balance, the even balance of mind. And this was a concept I struggled with quite a lot, until a teacher turned around to me and said, "Don't just do something, sit there." And he must have realised that sort of play on words would lead me to investigate, or it might be just a phrase that he likes as well. But I thought about it and realised that sometimes it is necessary to act, but how can we really judge if it's necessary to act if there's constant reaction to things, an immediate labelling of something as good or bad, rather than just pausing and investigating and seeing if we need to react and what the appropriate reaction is. And that's the quality of equanimity. It's not about being passive. It's not about not judging things as good or bad no matter what. It's not about holding up a terrible person, a dictator or someone, and saying how this person is neither good nor bad. There are bad actions and they should be condemned. And then you can hold a saintly person up and say, "Oh, this person is good," and you can say, "Well, there are good actions," but it's that emotional response to things which we're trying to remove. We're not trying to remove the emotions, and it's important to acknowledge emotions and process them and really investigate them. But reacting on emotion is different from acknowledging emotion. Another teacher of mine, when I asked him how he was, he laughed, and he always pauses before he does anything. He paused, and he laughed, and he paused again for maybe 20 seconds, which is quite a long time if you're waiting for him to say something. And he said with this wonderful joy and kindness in his eyes, like, "Everything's terrible and I'm so busy, I'm falling asleep in meetings, I don't know what to do. Isn't it funny?" and that acknowledging of the situation and reality, he wasn't hiding behind anything, but he also could see the funny side of it. But he also spoke with the balance of his mind, of his character, so he wasn't monotone. He was always slightly happier than the monotone, no matter what happened. And I remember I got into, maybe not into trouble, but I broke one of the many rules and of where I was living, and I never felt like I was being told off by him, even though he was probably one of the strictest monks I've ever met. But he had this kindness. So there's this Upekkha quality, this equanimity, And it's not equanimity above all else, it's equanimity in balance with the four other characteristics that I described, the Brahma Viharas or sublime abidings I described last week. So the first being loving kindness or metta, the second being compassion, and the ability to walk in someone else's shoes. And then there's sympathetic joy, mudita, which is I described as spontaneous happiness for the success of other people, rather than comparing it to you and comparing how deserving they are compared to your deservingness of something. So they all work together, and it's easy to get tangled in theoretical conversations about these things. But when you see people who really embody these four characteristics equally, and really have spent time developing these four characteristics, they seem a lot less at odds. And when I started, I often thought that there was an oppositeness between loving kindness and equanimity, and now I'm starting to see in a small way that they're all qualities that should be taken as working at the same time and together to build a greater whole, and having that ability, I think, is something we should all try and strive for, but not beat ourselves up, because we all lose our cool, we all lose our patience, we all say things that are less than skillful, and we all get overexcited by things, and we all can maybe find it easier to wish other people well. There might, even in the cake the emotional cake that we give them, there may always be that little grain of salt that we can never quite get rid of. But it's okay not to be perfect, and it's okay to develop these qualities without it being something so serious. And I whenever I think of these qualities, I think of that older monk with such kindness and joy in his eyes, with also having the equanimity. And I don't think he could have that much compassion without having an equal amount of equanimity. So I just wanted to share those words following up from last week. Anamodna sadhu.